everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Mr. Plaid's Clubhouse. Now, I don't think that this should be called Mr. Plaid's Clubhouse because I'm not in the clubhouse today. I'm actually driving in a car. The reason for that is because I am driving to meet CK, also known as Ghost, as some of y'all know. And we are going to record some things. We're going to do some live action. We might do a game. I'm not 100% sure what he has planned for me, but we'll see. Now, some of you might be wondering, hey, Jimothy, why are you doing a podcast driving to CK's house? I mean, can't you just drive there in 10 minutes and be okay? And to answer that question, no. I actually moved away from where I was living originally quite a while ago. I haven't made any updates since then, so this is going to be a little bit weird. Not weird, but so I have a bunch of podcasts recorded, and I was debating whether or not I should actually upload them, edit them, what should I do with them? And I've decided that I'm not going to do anything with them. I'm not going to touch them. They're just going to be lost forever. And I am going to go ahead and start fresh. So this is going to be a brand new era of Mr. Plaid's Clubhouse and just the Jimothy Plaid channel in general. I have some videos planned, as I just mentioned. Where I'm going to be filming with CK here in a few hours when I get there, and things are just going to be great. I'm starting this new chapter, and moving really caused a lot of stress, unnecessary stress. There were some mishaps here and there. Perhaps I'll tell stories about those at some point, but we'll see. Really, the biggest takeaway of this is that I moved. I got a new job. I haven't been recording, but I've been wanting to, and I have plans. I'm currently living by myself. Rebecca has decided to stay where I was living originally, and that's totally okay with me. Her reasoning is she wants to get a job so she can help me out, instead of just being taken care of, and I totally respect that. That's strong woman vibes. I'm really liking this new job so far. We'll see how long I can keep it. I've actually never been fired from a job, but I'm liking this job so far, and I'm liking what I'm doing. I'm making a good amount of money, so that means I can pour a little bit of money into this channel and then keep you all happy and entertained. Because that's really, that's kind of my goal with this channel. My goal has always been that I want to make other people happy with what I'm doing. Like, they can just sit down and watch something and be like, oh, hey, that's kind of, that took my mind off the shitty day I'm having or whatever. But also I'm doing this for me. This is something I like to do. I'm always, when I'm coming out of a bit of a quote-unquote hiatus, I always feel, I always feel like I'm dragging my feet. Like, I really don't want to be doing a podcast or a video or recording a game because I just don't want people's expectations to be lowered or them to be disappointed by what I'm doing. But I know that once I get going, it's not going to be like that. People are either going to like my stuff or they're not going to like my stuff. And I guess that's really what's happening here now. You're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. It's really not up to me to try to figure out if you personally are going to like what I'm making. It really only matters what I'm making. And I know it takes a lot of people a long time to get to that point, but I feel comfortable where I am so that I can start going at this harder. I don't have a lot of free time because of this job. I'm actually working 12 hours a day, It's actually not that bad where I'm working. It's just that not. It's you're at the place. You know, it's not gonna be like, oh, you're done with your work today. You get to go home. You know, I'm gonna be there for 12 hours. And what I have been using my free time to do is to be writing some sketches out that I want to try out. And if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. So there are ways for me to continue working on this channel while also balancing my work life, my social life, and also this virtual life that I want to rekindle. I thought it was going to be kind of distracting recording while driving, but this is actually kind of like, you know, talking on the phone or whatever. It's not distracting, you know, like you see in the PSAs, the person's driving, they're taking a phone call, and they look to their right, and there's a car coming at like 200 miles an hour that just fucking obliterates them. I'm not distracted like that, and I would say most people who talk on the phone while driving aren't that distracted. Texting and driving is a whole different ballgame, and that's some bullshittery right there. If you're doing that, then there's something wrong. But yeah, no, I feel comfortable doing this, and I might do this again in the future. Probably not this same week that I'm going to be coming back to where I'm living. We'll see. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do a Christmas special. Maybe do some sort of video performance. I don't know. We'll see. That's all long-term stuff, and I'm barely in the now, you know. So we'll see. We'll see about all that. What else? What else is there to talk about? There really isn't much. I could just leave this on while driving and just speak my thoughts, but that seems kind of dumb, you know. I just passed a car, which is crazy considering I'm on a highway, but you know, whatever. I've been recently thinking that on my days off, which I really don't have many, that on my days off I could do a little bit of streaming. And I have attempted to stream in the past. Not streaming discourages me for one reason, and that is because you can actually see in real time who's paying attention to you and who's not. Well, I mean, obviously, who's not is the rest of the world, but you can actively see how many people actually have eyes on you versus like a podcast or a video or most other pieces of media. You just get to see the reviews. You get to see the views as they pour in. You know, it's not this person's watching me, now I gotta do this, or I have this many people watching me, I gotta step it up. For a podcast like this or something else, you know, I get to see the people watch it over time or listen over time. So it makes me feel more confident the more people that come on. Versus a stream where in the past when I streamed, I would get a solid 5 viewers, which is actually pretty good for not advertising it all too much. Like I would put on my on social media with close friends, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm streaming, come check me out," and then my supportive friends would come out. But then I know for a fact, like a couple of those weren't my personal friends. It would be people just tuning in because they're curious of what I'm doing, which is actually really cool. You know, that's cool to see. But you know, it's also discouraging when you've been doing it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months and the views don't fluctuate the way that you think they should. They're just sitting around 4 or 5, or you'll get streams where literally no one will tune in. And, you know, I know that's not the point, but when you stream, you want people to watch you while you're streaming. I mean, it makes sense to me. You are wanting to put on a live show for the people watching. I'm not sure of I've never gotten into watching streams after they've stopped filming. I know a lot of content creators like to archive their streams, especially if they have a YouTube audience and a streaming audience. They'll even create a whole separate channel for it, or they'll even make highlights and stuff, which the highlights are actually, I like that idea. I wanted to implement that for a while, as instead of recording a Let's Play, I'll record a stream, and then all the highlights of that I'll put on my channel. But there's a lot that you gotta really be more careful while you're streaming, because when I'm doing this podcast right here, I can totally fuck up and say something really stupid, and then instead of leaving it in and people being mad at me, or me deleting the entire stream or video, I can just bleep out that word and then no one will be none the wiser. Or I can just completely cut it out. Now, obviously, I would never say something like that in real life. I would never say a horrendous thing like that. But mistakes happen, I mean, not even talking about me, there's a lot of situations where people will just kind of fuck up and say something like, oh shit, this, and then they'll say the words you're not supposed to say, and then they'll just get reamed for it, and rightly so. I mean, for the most part, I mean, there are some times where you can kind of ease off a little bit, but, if you're using a word by accident so confidently, that means it's in your vocabulary and you use it often, which isn't a good thing, especially for the words that I'm thinking of, which I'm also sure you guys are thinking of. The words that come to mind, the creators that come to mind when I talk about this situation. Now, there are a lot of instances where you can kind of ease up and be like, all right, this person didn't mean to do X, Y, and Z. We don't need to destroy their career. But there are other people, the one that I'm thinking of is the person who abused their cat. I don't remember the whole story because it happened a while ago, a few years ago. But, this person was, kind of abusing their cat on stream. That's not an accident. You can't justify throwing your cat or whatever. But there are some things that you can be like, okay, they didn't mean that, I don't really know exactly what my point of all this is, but, you get what I'm trying to say. It's easier to make a mistake in a podcast or a video and just cut it out, bleep it out, edit it out, do whatever you need to do. But in a stream, it's really hard to accidentally do something and then move on from it. Just recording this podcast alone, I have had to cut out so much stuff. Hell, I even restarted halfway through. I started when I started driving out of my apartment complex, and then about 4 minutes later, I just completely restarted, and that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing, because that means I'm giving you guys quality. You guys are taking the time out of your day to listen to me or watch me or whatever you want. I gotta do what I can to make it a good experience for you, because even though I don't know all of you, I respect all of you. There are some people in this audience that do know me and that I know them. They know my real name. I know their whatever, and I'm very happy that you guys are listening to me. You guys are probably my biggest supporters. But then there's people that I just don't know that I need to make a good impression for, And it's not going to happen if I leave all that stuff in. You know, they're taking the time out of their day to listen to me or watch me, and then they're going to be like, why didn't they cut this out? That's so stupid. And then they'll move on and never watch me again. Which is fine. They don't have to watch me. But I would really appreciate it. You know, I'm not in the position to say that this is either A, my dream, or B, something that I would like do as a full-time job right now. Mostly because I'm looking at myself now and I'm like, I can barely get a podcast out every week, and I'm taking like months and months off, and nobody's getting anything for it. And I realize the more I ramble, the more I don't make sense. But I'm trying, you know? Anyway, I forgot to eat before I left, so that was a mistake. I might have to pull over somewhere and get something to eat. Maybe I'll have them on the podcast. Who knows? Probably not. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. I really enjoy driving, just in general. I actually wanted to do this type of podcast the last time I drove back home. It didn't happen just because I didn't think about it until the last minute, and then on top of that, I didn't do what was necessary to get everything situated. Like my computer, which is what I'm actually recording on. I should take a picture of this setup because it's actually kind of funny. Because I have my computer sitting in the seat next to me, and then instead of my microphone that I usually use, I have a headset hanging from my rearview mirror with the microphone sticking out, and I'm not leaning into it, but I am sitting a little bit more forward than I usually would. So this is kind of a funny setup. But so if the quality is bad, that's why, and I apologize. But this is really the only way this is the way that I was going to get content out to you guys this week, or this month, or whenever I actually post this. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. I will say I'm a bit of a lazy person and a bit of a procrastinator. But then once I get something going, I'll get it done, you know. So I'm confident that I'll be able to get something going for you guys without having too much time in between. But anyway, back to what I was about to say. I really do enjoy driving. When I was living with my parents, it would be one of the things that I would do to kind of clear my mind or relax. Now it's kind of hard because I don't have just my gas and car insurance to pay for and worry about. I also have rent to pay. I also have food to buy, groceries. I got insurance. You know, I have a bunch of things I have to pay for. So I don't really get to go out and drive. But actually, last night I took a little trip down to the beach because it's fairly close to where I live, and it was really nice driving down there. I was listening to the Super Mega podcast, or the Super Mega Cast, which is one of my favorite podcasts of all time. I say that I was inspired by them, but it's more that my inspiration was rekindled by them. I was inspired to do videos. I think I mentioned this before. I was inspired both by Smosh, which I think a lot of YouTubers these days kind of were inspired by classic Smosh. Before they got all the new people in, and before they were bought out and all that. And then also I was inspired by this one guy, and even since the last time I brought this up, I still don't remember this guy's name. I think his name started with like Drago or Dragon or something with a bunch of letters behind it. But he did a Let's Play of Super Mario Sunshine, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know if it was because of him, or because of the gameplay, or what it was, or maybe even just the time of my life. I was about 8 years old when this guy was doing videos. And I would watch his Super Mario Sunshine playthrough very, very often. I think more than once a year. What I would do is during a school break, I wouldn't have homework or anything to do. My mom was pretty chill about letting me do stuff. I would go on the computer, go on YouTube, and watch this guy, for hours. Because, back in the day, 10 minutes was the claim to fame. That's what a Let's Play was. It was a 10-minute segment of you playing a game. And he would do, again, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because the gameplay was great or if he was great, but I was just captivated by him every time. I watched him play Super Mario Sunshine more than I watched any TV show, any movie, I promise you. And I was having such a good time. I remember I would sit at the computer, my fat little stomach hanging out, eating fucking chips, just watching this guy, kind of in amazement, kind of just with entertainment. I was very entertained by this guy. So much so that I attempted to record a Let's Play very poorly because, I was 8. But I got my Nintendo DS, because that was really the only console I had. I bought a PS2, but I had 2 games on it. But I had a Nintendo DS with new Super Mario Bros. And I pointed the camera. I created this rig where the camera would point down at the screens, and then I would just play. And I didn't get more than 1 episode out. I didn't even upload anything because I didn't know how. But I felt so inspired by this guy that I got the supplies I needed. I got myself situated and I started doing it. And it would be many, many years later until I retried the YouTube thing again. I made a channel. I want to say 2013 or 15. I don't quite remember. It's actually the channel that you're watching now, just rebranded. The original name was Uncle Tiffany, and I got that name from a guy called Hollywood. His real name, I don't know if I should actually say it here because I don't know who this is going to reach, and I don't really care to accidentally dox this guy. But essentially, he gave me this nickname because we were doing. I was in Boy Scouts as a young boy. Most of y'all know that, and we were doing a camping trip with a bunch of different troops in the area, Boy Scout troops in the area, and we were all doing this thing where we were trying to guess each other's name, I guess. And I hear someone say my name out loud, and I'm like, "Oh, that's me." So I turned around and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And then everyone started laughing, and I was like, "What the hell? Why is everyone laughing?" Well, it's because the name that was screamed out wasn't my name, but it was Tiffany. So then I got the nickname Tiffany. Everyone called me Tiffany, and I just ate that shit up. And I don't really remember where the uncle part came from. I think it was because I was just weird in general. I'm not sure. But anyway, Uncle Tiffany came to be, and when I got home from that camping trip, it was about 2 weeks or so. When I got home from that camping trip, I made an Instagram with that name. I made a whole bunch of social media, which is now deleted. I don't use that name anymore. But I made a YouTube channel off of that name, and I really tried to. I don't know. I try to be like a Smosh Game Grumps kind of mix, and it didn't really work at all. I have one live action video that I don't remember if CK showed it on one of his podcasts or not, but I do have that video archived on this channel. Whether or not I actually re-upload or reinstate this video, I'm not sure. I thought it was funny, but also I know a lot of people probably didn't get it. So we'll see. But it didn't really work out. I did a couple streams. I got at most 6 viewers, and that was basically it. That was the legacy of Uncle Tiffany right there. But now it was about 4 years after I did that, I started the Jimothy Plaid stuff, and then this is where we are now. This is present day, and as you guys know, I have stuff planned, and I feel like this is obviously this is the best I've done in the online scape. I have 4 or 5 episodes of a podcast uploaded. I have a good recording setup, kind of. I have a good microphone. I have a laptop. I have everything I need. I'm actually pouring money into this channel, which is, I suppose, is a good thing. I think it's very hard not to spend money and have a successful online career. You know what? I'm certain of that. You gotta purchase a computer to edit, or you have to pay someone to edit for you. You have to have something to record on, and you don't just get that stuff for free unless it's gifted to you. But somebody had to buy that, So I'm finally in a spot where I'm thinking about, I need to purchase a better editor, or I have to purchase XYZ, which you kind of do, but, it doesn't matter either way. I'm sure there are some people who are successful out there who don't spend a lot of money on their recording equipment. In fact, I can guarantee it's happened, but it doesn't. I'm in the spot where I feel like I'm doing more professional stuff. I have professional equipment, I'm not sure if that really makes sense or not, and I don't care if it does, because it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be a pay to win on this site, It shouldn't be you pay $100,000. That means you get more views. It really comes down to are you entertaining or not? And if you are not, then people don't want to watch you. But if you are, then people will want to watch you. And I hope and pray that I am in the I am entertaining category. I'm sure somebody out there finds me entertaining. Whether or not they find me is up to them or up to the algorithm, but we'll see. Okay, so just a bit of a travel update. I'm driving down the road, and my car, I'm going to just go ahead and admit something to myself here. My car isn't like a nice, fast car. It's a nice car, but it's not like one of those cars. It's not like a Dodge Charger or anything, It's not going to be a fast, nice car. But even so, I decided to put racing stripes on it and a banner because I'm that guy. And so as a result, a lot of people on the street will think, oh, he wants to race because he looks like that kind of guy. Most of the time I don't, and I usually don't. I'm a pretty safe driver. Some of my friends are yelling at my screen right now, saying I'm not a safe driver, but I drive smart. Like, I know what I'm doing in a situation. I haven't been in a situation where I actually, except for maybe once, I've ever been in a situation where I fucked up so bad that it resulted in something really bad, other than like a speeding ticket on a highway or something. I usually try not to like actually race people. Um, it's not even a try, or usually I just don't race people. But people on the street will see me and start kind of revving up or going fast past me just to kind of prove themselves, I think. And it's kind of funny to me because then I'll just be back here not doing anything while they're rushing off, you know. And it's just like I don't really know who that was for, but okay. And sometimes on the highway, I'll get aggressive people who think they're in a race car movie trying to get ahead of me. And most of the time, I'll be like, do whatever the fuck you want, just drive past me. But then other times there's people like actively driving like a jerk, and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna let you in because you're fucking stupid. So this red BMW just like a few minutes ago starts doing that shit, start the in and out traffic weaving and pulling up next to me or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? And they're like trying to squeeze in these little spots that aren't possible. And most of the time I let them in. But there's someone behind me, really close to me. So I can't just hit the brake a little bit and let them in. There's someone right behind me, and if I hit the brake too hard, they might run into me. So this guy just kind of keeps staring at me, and meanwhile, I'm trying to record a podcast, so I'm looking over. I'm not really acknowledging him, and this guy's you can just tell this guy's getting mad, and I don't know, he's just like, he just starts like, kind of doing the angry, like, talking to himself shit. He finally gets around me and just kind of speeds off. But I don't know if that was because he thought I was going to be faster or if he wanted to race with me or something. I'm not sure what that was. I think that was just normal road rage. I'm not sure. But I keep driving down the road. It's not even like 2 or 3 minutes later, and all of a sudden I see blue flashing lights, and I'm like, oh shit, there's cherries and berries over there. What's going on? And I look, and it's that red BMW got pulled over. I'm like, karma, bitch. It's really funny to see things like that. It's really funny to be, I wouldn't say wronged, but it's really funny to be hassled for not driving fast, and then seeing someone get pulled over for driving fast. There was something that happened to me. Well, like I was driving to like Walmart or something like that a long time ago. I was probably in like high school or something. I was driving, and then there's this guy, kind of whipping around in traffic, trying to be an asshole, and he kind of got to a point where he couldn't really whip around anybody anymore. Like he was kind of like behind me. And also there was a guy next to me who was he kept going at my speed, which I don't really understand why he did that. But he was going at my speed, kind of not letting this guy over. And the guy was like getting all pissed off or whatever. Doing that mad talking to himself shit. And he was trying to find a way to get around us. Finally, the guy who was next to me turned off. This guy whips around me. But the thing is that he started to go down a lane that turned into a one lane only. I was in the lane that was turning into the lane. He was going into the lane that cut off. So he was going into that lane. A bus is sitting there because it's a bus stop. He whips around the bus. There's a guy just kind of driving really slow right next to the bus, and he fucking boom, like right in the back of him. And, he gets out, and he starts yelling at the guy that he ran into. Like, he wasn't the one at fault here. And I just like, dude, you're the one who fucked up. There's a lot of crazy drivers out there, man. And I guess the way that I actually drive, I think a lot of my friends would put me in the very bottom of that reckless driver category. And I really try not to be a reckless driver. I try to follow the rules to the best of my ability. I mean, sometimes I'll go 5 over in a in a speed limit. You know, I'll go 50 instead of 45, and maybe I'll kind of come to a rolling stop instead of an actual stop. But I'm not reckless when it comes to driving. I'm not gonna be whipping in and out of traffic. I'm not gonna be trying to jump a ramp or whatever. You know. Maybe I'm an unreliable narrator here. You know, maybe someone is going to tell me, "Hey, you're actually kind of a shitty driver," and then I get to be like, "Oh shit, sorry." You know. I kind of just pull into this town. It's a bit of a college town, but I'm sure they have some sort of food here. I think I'm going to try to pull into a fast food place in a minute. Feature a fast food place. How about you? Um, I don't know if I should get like burgers, or chicken, or something like that. There's a lot of good options around here. Who knows? Who knows what I'll get? So I was listening to Super Mega Cast, and as y'all know, they're one of my inspirations. They're the people that I want to be the most like. And I know that's hard as a single person, but we'll see what we can do. And I was listening to them, and you know, they just went into live action. Any of you guys who do listen to Super Mega Cast knows they just changed their format from one similar to mine, where it's just kind of like a picture, and you listen to them, or you listen on Spotify or something like that, to they have a camera set up, and they're talking interview style. You know? And I don't hate it. You know, I like seeing their faces or whatever. We don't get to see a lot of that. They do a lot of live action. Not a lot, but they do. They've been kind of switching over from doing Let's Plays and podcasts only to more doing live action stuff and podcasts. And they're adding the podcast into their live action roster, you know. And I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing them and stuff. But, you know, when I'm driving like I am now, usually I'm listening to a podcast because, you know, it's the span of about an hour and I'm driving for many hours, so I like to listen to a couple of them at a time. But I'm always afraid that I'm going to get into a wreck, and the first thing they're going to do is look at my phone, you know, and be like, "Oh, he was doing this, and this is his fault." So what I'll do sometimes, and I know I just said that I'm not a reckless driver, but this is something that I really do. I will. I have a watch later playlist just for driving in the car. You know, it's mostly a lot of, oh, let me explain how this movie does this, or let's explain this science experiment, or something along the lines of that. And I'll set it up. I'll put it on my Bluetooth. I'll set it up so that it is on my seat facing down. So I'm not looking at this at all. I'm not watching videos that require me to actually watch them. They're basically podcasts in their own right. So I'm always afraid that if I get into a wreck and they see that I had YouTube pulled up on my phone, they're going to think that I'm actually watching the phone, and I'm not. That's not something I'm going to do. Now with the Super Mega Cast, them switching to live action, and I think they've actually taken their stuff off of Spotify, because the only one that I'm seeing on Spotify is episode 169, and they have a couple episodes after that. So the ones I'm going to have to listen to are on YouTube and they're live action. And I'm afraid that when I am driving, I'm going to get into a wreck and they're going to be like, "You were watching a YouTube video." And I'm going to be like, "No, I wasn't. It's a podcast, I promise." You know, it would be hard to justify me listening to them like that. I really like listening to podcasts just on the way. Driving somewhere a long distance, I put Super Mega Cast on. I'll put. There's a podcast called Scared to Death that Rebecca and I really like listening to. It's a horror podcast, but it's not like, ooh, this thing really happened, crazy, right? It's more like, this is the story. Um, this is the what we know about this story. Could it be true? Maybe. Could it not be? Maybe. Um, and then they'll kind of go into like, oh, if this was true, then X, Y, and Z. There's a lot there that they go into. It's more of a I say philosophical, but I don't think so. It's more of a just telling stories podcast. It's run by comedian Dan Cummins or Cummins. Fuck, I don't. That's gonna haunt me if I don't remember his last name. But Dan Cummins and his wife, they both run the podcast. And his wife's name is Lindsay. Sorry, just and his wife. That's all she'll be. So they do this podcast setup. They set up this podcast. Dan tells the stories from the internet. He'll do a bunch of research, and he'll tell stories, and he'll kind of give a background or whatever. While Lindsay, his wife, will do viewer submitted stories that supposedly happened to the person who wrote the story. So, like, Dan will do the researched online. These are there are X amount of There's this story. This is what people say happened. People think it's true. Yada yada yada. Meanwhile, she'll be like, this is a story that supposedly happened to this person, and then she'll say the story. It's kind of cool. I like it. Now, I didn't usually like horror stuff, especially as a kid. I always used to shy away from it. It was something I never used to watch, or even like take in. And even now, it's not my go-to, mostly because most of the horror movies and stuff that are coming out nowadays aren't revolutionary. I think the only one of recent times I've ever watched that came out is A Quiet Place. And that was actually really well done. I love that movie. It's good as a movie. It's not just a scary movie. I really enjoy the concept. I enjoy that they got an actually deaf actress to play the deaf girl. Um, you know, it's very well written and very well directed, and it's a very good concept. And of course, they ruined it by making a sequel that I believe isn't really that good. Um, I think the ending of A Quiet Place was perfect. It kind of keeps us guessing, like, oh, what are these characters going to do now? And that was something that a lot of people could be like, oh, this is what I think may have happened, or this is what probably happened in my mind. But now, we can't. You're not allowed to have that imagination anymore because they told us what happened right afterwards. Now, I know that you can kind of guess, oh, what happened after this, but if you've seen the movie, you know that it was kind of a solution at the end. And now, really, the answer to that question is they're going to keep doing that. There isn't a lot more to say after that movie. Now, there is a story that could be told after this movie. You can very easily say, oh, let's do another movie. Let's see what happens when they try to bring the solution out into the world and try to help out. But that's what they're going to try to do. there's no way that they're going to find a solution and just leave it at that. They're not going to try to reach as many people as possible. So I really enjoy movies that get you thinking at the end. Like, I can't think of a good example right now just because I didn't do any research on this and it isn't that type of podcast / video or whatever. There are way more people who are qualified to speak on subjects like this, but I like A Quiet Place because like I said, it's a good concept. They did an excellent job executing it, and they leave you guessing at the end of what's going to happen next. There's a lot of movies out there that kind of give you the answer of what they do at the end, which is fine, but movies that give you that option to think at the end and then answer the questions just doesn't sit right with me. You know, there's a lot of people who made theories like, oh, this is what they're going to do or whatever, but A Quiet Place had wrapped everything up in a little bow and then gave it to you, you opened your present, and then you got punched in the face with a second one. I do enjoy movies. I have watched enough movies to be. I could probably create a channel where I talk about movies and actually have a script about them, but I'm not going to do that, and there's a couple reasons why. The first reason is that a lot of people's opinions, including mine, get very, trying to think of the word. They get to a point where you, basically with a movie channel like that, your opinion will probably change about that movie. I know for a fact that I have watched a movie, liked it, and then I watched a video explaining why I shouldn't like it, and then realized, oh yeah, I shouldn't like it. And it kind of ruined the movie for me, mostly because I can't watch the movie without thinking about all that stuff. Now, there are some movies out there that I can overlook all that. One of them being Speed Racer, 2008. That's probably one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's not because of anybody else's opinion. In fact, I've never watched a video about that movie because I know that I like that movie and I don't want that opinion to change at all. So I haven't even heard anybody else mention it at all online. I mean, obviously somebody's mentioned it, but I'm not going to watch that video because I don't want to. I don't want my opinion of this movie to change. Now, I'm trying to think of movies that have done this to me, where I've watched the movie, liked it, watched the video, didn't like it anymore. And you know what? Maybe I shouldn't even go digging into it because I don't want to rekindle those feelings. But, you know, I don't want to be the guy that ruined somebody's favorite movie. I don't want to be the guy who says, James and the Giant Peach is really shitty because the peach looks gross and there's talking bugs in it. And then that person who's watching the movie or watching the video who likes that movie goes, oh yeah, that peach is disgusting. And then they want to watch their favorite movie and then they can't because some dickhead said that they didn't like it. Now, I know there's a lot of you shouldn't let other people tell you that you shouldn't like your favorite movie, but it's very hard to be in a situation where somebody's telling you all the reasons why they don't like something, bring up very good points, and then you not agree with it. You know, it's human nature to want to agree with somebody who's making good points. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would say, you know, it's hard to avoid watching something that talks about something that you don't like or whatever. I don't know. And I'm not saying that people who review movies and give their honest opinion on them are dickheads. Um, there are a lot of people out there that talk about movies that have good opinions on some, bad opinions on others, and then the guy right next to him has very different opinions. It happens, and it's supposed to happen. People aren't supposed to have just one opinion on something and then move on. But I just don't personally want to be the person that makes somebody else not like their favorite thing anymore. Because if somebody likes something, what's wrong with them liking it? And I know that's not really the point of those movie channels. They don't want to. They don't want to ruin your experience, or maybe they do, but I highly doubt that they want to. They're just talking about what they want to do. They're talking about what they want to talk about, and more power to them for wanting to do that. And that's all I gotta say about that, I guess. I think I need to forage some food. Um, I just passed by a lot of places, but I was on a roll and I didn't want to interrupt myself. So I'm still on the hunt. I think I might need gas because I forgot to fill up before I left. Oh man, this road trip's beginning to be a mess. Okay, how about this? I promise that I'll interrupt myself if I find somewhere I want to eat. Yeah, I'll do that. I think where my love of driving comes from is the fact that I really liked road trips as a kid. I just really enjoyed being in the car with my family, just going to see new places, do new things. The world's just passing by you. Not a lot not to see. You sometimes it's just a bunch of trees, but then you get out to where there's no trees, and then you're like, "Whoa, there's no trees here." I remember I took a road trip with my dad. Um, I want to say, man, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but basically we traveled up the East Coast, not like literally, but we traveled north, and we saw a bunch of old Civil War sites, and we went to all the ones that our ancestors directly fought in. I want to say that one of them is the Battle of Bullpen, but I don't remember, or Cowpen or something like that. I'll have to confirm with my father on that. But it was really nice, And I'm sure at the time I was acting like a moody kid and didn't want to be there or whatever, but that specific trip is something I think about kind of often. Another trip which was less of a road trip and more of a cross country trip north. Again, we went north again, but we went a little bit further. So we decided to take a train all the way up to New York from where we live, and we stopped in Pennsylvania and Washington D.C. And that was fun too. I really enjoy going places that um, I normally wouldn't have a chance to go to. You know, I don't really have a lot of options to go anywhere new. Because I live somewhere where you're basically going to be stuck where you live for the most part. That's what you're going to see every day. Um, you're not going to be driving around to different states unless your job calls for it or you have the money for it. So any chance to travel I get is a good one. I just recently had a class for this new job that I have, And the point, you're supposed to go to this class, and it's a 2-week class, and usually they have it, somewhere where there's like a couple people from that state and a couple people from this state and a couple people from this state. It's supposed to be kind of a melting pot of who's working in that company. And we were supposed to go to Dothan, Alabama, which I'm not even sure if there's anything there, and I don't care because I wanted to go somewhere new. I wanted to travel somewhere for 2 weeks and kind of do my thing. But it turned out that they changed it because we were supposed to have a lot more people in the class. We changed it, and it ended up being like two or 3 minutes away from where I live, and it kind of sucked. But I got to see other people from different areas, and that was kind of cool. But I wanted to travel. They pay for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you travel, they pay your mileage if you drive. They pay your plane ticket if you fly. But I didn't get to do that. I got free lunch. That's about it, and a free education, I guess. So I guess that's cool. But I wish I had gotten a little bit more. Like I said, I love traveling. I'll drive, a really far distance away, even if I don't have to. When I was living with my parents, on my days off, I would drive like almost an hour or two away from home just to do it. I would be like, oh, I've never drove this way before. Let's do it today. And then I would do that, and then just kind of map my way home. I would Google Maps my way home. It was pretty cool, pretty simple. I saw some cool things that not a lot of people in my area would have. Not because they would never go down there, but because they've never driven just to drive. And I like to drive. I have a car and a truck that I drive to work, and I got a flat tire on the way home from work last night. I I ran over something really big, and I didn't see it at all. And I ran it over with my back tire, and I'm not sure how it happened. So I'm gonna have to go get that fixed. But I was trying to change the tire, but the jack, there isn't a place to jack my truck on the back except for the axle. And I had forgotten this because it's been 5 years since I changed a tire back there. So I was like, what the heck is going on? Because I was trying to find a good place to jack it up, and I thought I found one. But by the time I got the jack all the way up to the body of the truck, there was no more jack to give. I had to take the jack out, reset it, which took forever. Then I had to find somewhere else to put it, and it took me like 3 or 4 tries to find where to do it. And then on top of that, I always forget that you're supposed to loosen the bolts before you take the tire off, or before you jack it up. Obviously, you're supposed to take the bolts off before you take the tire off. But you're supposed to take the bolts off, jack the truck up, take off the tire, put the new one on, bolt it back up, and then set it down. But every single time I've ever changed a tire, which unfortunately has been a lot, not just for me, but for other people, I jack it up, and then I take the bolts off, and then the tire starts spinning. So I'm like, oh shit, you can't do that. Anyway, it's just kind of funny. that I keep doing that, but whatever. I've come to terms that I'm not the smartest peanut in the shell. You know, I'm not the crunchiest nut in the shell. I'm not the bounciest ball. I got some G Fuel recently-ish. Like, this is probably a couple months ago, but I have G Fuel. And I got like a strawberry flavor, and I think I got like strawberry ice, which I don't like as much. I really like the strawberry flavor. I like putting it in milk because it'll make it kind of like a creamier. Um, oh no, it wasn't strawberry. It was like cotton candy or something like that. But anyway, it tastes like strawberry milk if you put it in the milk. So for a while, I was putting the G Fuel in the milk and drinking it and having a good time or whatever. And then one day, I like lose my cup, and I'm like, "Where is my G Fuel? Like, where is that thing?" And so I just kind of stopped drinking it. And then when I started moving, I found it, and the milk had like spoiled. Like it wasn't like a full thing of G Fuel. It was like just a little bit, but it was enough to make it like absolutely disgusting. So I was like, shit. Okay, I need to wash this. So I threw it in my dishwasher back at home, and then nothing happened. I was like, shit, it's not working. So I washed it like 3 or 4 times and it didn't work. I had to put like baking soda in there with warm hot water, and for it to like actually get the smell out and stuff. And it worked for only like a little bit, and then like it started smelling again. I was like, ah, shit, that's so gross. And it was gross, and it took me like 3 or 4 times with the baking soda to actually get all the smell out. So that was really fucking disgusting. But hey, what are you gonna do? You live and you learn. Am I right, fellas?
Hi, would you be using your mobile app today?
I'm sorry?
Will you using your mobile app?
Oh no, ma'am.
Hey, what can I get for you, sir?
Can I get a number 3 with a large fry and a medium Dr Pepper, no ice?
Okay, yes, sir. Medium Dr. Pepper, no ice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, sir. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, yes, sir. Have a good one.
All right, thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Okay, yes, sir.
I usually don't. I'm at McDonald's. I usually don't get McDonald's because it makes me poop worse than Taco Bell. But I needed food, and this was what was available, so that's what I'm going to go for. I mean, McDonald's is good, but it just makes me poop, and I don't like that feeling of having to poop, after, because it's like, that feeling of having to go to the bathroom, but it's like greasy, like having to, it's just gross. I don't like it. Their fries are really good though. Their fries are really good. I like their fries. I will say that. I think if I had to rank my favorite fries, it would have to go. Number 1 is McDonald's. Number 2 is Zaxby's. Number 3, I think I like Arby's curly fries really. I actually I know I like Arby's curly fries. They're really good. They're a nice change of pace too. But that's something I like. Um, I would say the best burgers come from Burger King because I really like their sesame seed buns, and that comes on every burger, I think. But I don't know, they do burgers very well at Burger King, and Arby's has some good selections. I like their mac and cheese. Their mac and cheese is really good. Um, well, there's more that I like, but yeah. Fast food is fast food. Taco Bell has good selections, I would say. Like that. I think it's the gordita. The gordita is really good. They took away a lot of their really good items, and I don't know why. Like I'm sure everyone really liked them. Like the grillers were really good, and like I think they got rid of like a steak burrito or something. I don't remember what it was. It's been a while. But I stopped going to Taco Bell after that. Um, I like their quesadillas at Taco Bell though. There's something about cheap chicken and like a spicy sauce that just I really like. Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
The double quarter pound of meal large for the medium Dr. Pepper with
Yes,
no
ma'am.
ice. Okay. $9.93.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good one. I hope
Thank
your
you.
day goes well tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
You have a good one.
Okay.
She was sweet. That was nice. This is usually not the service I get at fast food restaurants. Usually I get people who get really pissed off at me because I usually ask for no ice on my drink because I don't like ice. I don't like the way it melts and makes the drink watery. And also, you technically get a little bit more if you don't ask for ice because it's not displacing the volume of whatever. But no, people get really mad, and then like I'll be like no ice, and then they'll be like, oh fuck you, because they have to remake it. Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too. So like they did it right this time, so I have to commend this McDonald's. But usually it's do you I don't know. I ask for no ice, and then they give me ice, and then I'm like, hey, I asked for no ice, and then they're like, fuck, they just get mad, and I don't blame them because they technically have to throw away the whole thing. They're not allowed to keep it or whatever, but if you listen to me, you'll know exactly what I want. you know, like I'm not gonna lead you astray. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I want. You know, I promise you, I'm not gonna trick you. Now I know that sometimes those machines have really bad microphones, but I don't know. I don't get mad at them. Ooh, that was a crispy fry. I'd give you guys some, but I can't. It's gotten to the point at fast food restaurants that if I'll actually like leave a good review on their Google page and like specifically name the employee because I not a lot of places really care if their employees are good or not. But I think they would if people start being like, "Hey, this person did a good job," and then they'll be like, "Okay, well, maybe I should get more employees because people are listening, or maybe I should be more careful of who I hire or whatever." Like I know that everyone should try everyone should have a job to be able to make money, but sometimes people lose their jobs because they're rude. Not saying that that's a good or bad thing, but I won't say it's 100% not deserved. I know that there are instances where you had a rough day and then someone's asking you a dumb question and then they're kind of rude, and then as a result you are a little bit rude back. But, I wouldn't say that's a good excuse, but it is like if you have a good track record and you're rude to somebody like once or twice, I don't think you should lose your job. But if like you're the person that's always getting complaints at a job, maybe everyone should just rethink their relationships with each other. Like maybe you're not suited for customer service. Like I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a job just because you were rude one time, but I mean maybe you just need to do something else. Like I don't know. There's jobs out there, and I know the climate today is employers saying people don't want to work anymore, and then there are employees saying, oh, or people looking for jobs being like, oh, we need to be treated with respect, which fair enough they do, but there are jobs out there. We're not like the jobs aren't hiding. There are places that are hiring. Gotta look out and actually search for them. And I'm not bashing anyone who can't find a job or isn't getting the interviews they need, but I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to make this political because I'm not a political person. I have my opinions, but I'm not educated enough to talk about them. But there are jobs out there, and people know that. There shouldn't be any reason why most people don't have jobs unless they just keep getting fired for I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't talk about controversial opinions after I just ordered from McDonald's saying how much it makes me shit. Probably don't have all my ducks in a row. 20 minutes away. So I think I'm going to end things here. You guys have been great. I love talking to you guys. It's been a while. I'm going to try to kick things back off with this. Like I said at the beginning, we got some things planned. In fact, today is the day that we're going to go do all those things. Maybe not all of them, but at least a couple. So catch me on Ghost's channel. Catch me on here. I'll have any social media that I've created down in the description. And I'll be adding whatever video or podcast I'm in into my stuff I am in podcast or playlist so that you guys have an easy way to see that. And I guess with that, I'll bid you adieu. I am still driving, so wish me luck on the last leg of this journey. And thanks for coming to hang out. Have a good